If you guys know me, you know that I make video games. For those of you that don't know me that well, you won't know that I kinda suck at playing most video games. With that being said, I am pretty good at reaction-based games. So I asked my community to help me make games that can be played with a single button control scheme. A couple months back, we actually hit 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube. It was something that I was really excited to accomplish, and so I promised you guys I would make a game jam to celebrate this milestone. Well, that jam just ended, and we also recently hit 20,000 subscribers. So yeah, I guess this is kind of like a double milestone video. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your support and your subscriptions. You guys are literally changing my life, and I couldn't be more thankful for this amazing community we have built here. Let's see what video games would have looked like if we never thought of the idea to expand controls past a single button press. The first game I'd like to talk about had executed the theme in one of the most effective ways. Most developers in the jam had expanded on this one button theme by adding cursor aiming or using the scroll wheel to get away with adding more options for controlling their games. This by no means was against the rules. However, when you come across a highly advanced platformer like Orochi and Wazda that is 100% controlled entirely by a single button, you start to realize just how much you can do with such a heavy restriction like this. Combining tapping the button to turn your character's direction, holding the button to run, and releasing the button to jump, Orochi and Wazda offered a polished experience with a ton of levels to keep you constantly learning more about how the game's mechanics can be fully pushed to its limits. Not to mention the secret unlockable buttons you can try to collect for an extra set of challenges. Next up on the list was one of the games that offered me the most unique experiences in the jam. Don't drive with one arm. Wait, don't drive and one arm? Okay, whatever, doesn't matter. This game was really fun to pick up and start playing. This is an example of a game that I did not expect to find in a jam like this. A first-person driving game? Basically, you will have to use your mouse to turn your steering wheel and drive around a layer of challenges. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get very far in this one, but nonetheless, it was a fantastic idea, and the sound effects on this game were 10 out of 10. The reason I love Game Jam so much is the idea of creating tons of interesting, unique games that all align in some kind of matching thought process. Before we get into my personal favorite game of the jam, I'd like to discuss some wildly unique and varied experiences that the community had made for us to enjoy. Rebound, while simple in concept, was extremely well polished and fun to play. Click and drag your character in a direction to sling across the environment. The catch here is that in order to recover your dash ability, you must first bounce off of something, whether that being a wall, an enemy, or these power stations. You must master this ability to make it to the end. Circle Runner was a game that I personally had a lot of fun with, and it definitely delivered on the one control theme effectively. Move in a circular motion, tapping the button to change directions, avoiding lasers and blocks that will end your run. It's a very calming experience that with a more unique art style could definitely be something my friends and I would have picked up and played back in high school during those boring history classes. Now it's time for the speedrunning segment. I'll flash up on screen a bunch of games I had fun playing, trying my best to explain each game in a single sentence. A game about using your bullets to propel you towards your goal and avoiding hazards. Dash through enemies in this auto side scroller, jumping from platform to platform. Sling a barrel across a floating island to knock down bowling pins. If Ryu from Street Fighter got stuck in a reaction-based game, this would be it. Shoot packages across space and learn the true physics of how black holes operate. 100%. That's science. A Chance of Rain is a game where you play as a little raindrop that slides across the floor and can move in one direction at a time. Learn Morse code to blow up some bombs in Morse Tutor. Spoopy's Restaurant is kind of like a visual novel, but you play as a chef feeding extremely well-designed monsters. Cutest game I've ever played. That is all. Play as a paper rocket ship in space. Dozer buildings in a super cool 3D pixelated art style. The coolest gravity switching golf game you will ever play goes to Golfity. Jump around as a frog and eat some flies in this hard as hell platformer and switch gravity in anti-gravity. This game is called Drunk Goose. No explanation is necessary here. shoot aliens in a circular motion, and play Minecraft if it was a reaction-based game. Flip gravity in 4 directions to avoid monsters, or play this click and drag puzzler about pushing a button. Welcome to QA is a game where you must accept or decline robots, continuously gaining new rules that stack to make your job harder over time. It's a memory game. And finally, the fan favorite game of the first Boundless Game Jam. The game that exceeded my expectations of a single jam game with 1 button control. Dog wants treat. Yes, the #1 game of the Game Jam is about a pooping corgi that does not vibe with frogs or water. This game not only did a great job on both the audio and visuals, but also in the core of what the game offers and how you actually play. Simple idea, but you want to get your dog to the finish line by tainting his soul with a nice juicy bone. Oh yeah, and there's a new Game Plus mode, which, without spoiling too much, is probably the best experience I've ever had in a video game. There were over 150 games entered into this jam, so unfortunately I couldn't show off the majority of these awesome entries, but you guys are more than welcome to check them out for yourselves if you are interested to see what other games were a part of the event. I had a ton of fun hosting my first ever game jam and will definitely be doing this again in the future. Game jams offer something quite unique as far as development goes. These game creation events serve as a way to get in on the fun of turning game development into a friendly competition. Create games as a community and feel a part of something bigger than just yourself. Jams help to get developers back into the creative mindset with restrictions. People always say you need to think outside of the box to be creative. Well, what about the ideas that are inside the box? If you get creative with how you execute these boxed-in ideas, you can still create something just as fun, or even more so, with giving the player an expectation. When gamers play jam games, they are given an idea of what the game should be like even before playing it. If you are able to surprise your player or just give in to exactly what they are looking for from the experience they are geared up for in the first place, you can still make an amazing product without having to create 1,000 different game ideas to spark that 1 in a million type idea. Finally, game jams keep you accountable for finishing something and getting feedback on whatever you decide to make. They help you develop your skills in a fun way, so if you didn't join in on this Boundless Game Jam event, don't worry, we will be doing a lot more events like this in the future. I hope you guys learned something about the power of game jams, or maybe got inspired by some of the games I showed off today. Before we end off, I'd like to thank Xsolla for sponsoring this video and helping support me to continue creating content as a full-time career. Well, along with, making games and selling those games and streaming and all the other things I do. Anyway, Xsolla gives developers opportunities to aid in making distribution and all of the business aspects of game dev much easier. From creating your game's very own launcher for making updating your game a breeze, to creating in-game stores, game subscriptions, and even a site builder. I had actually worked with this company a couple years back on my first commercial game, Shield Shock, and I had actually built this website using the Xsolla tools in only a few hours. Last but not least is my personal favorite feature Xsolla offers their developers, the Partner Network program. The Partner Network program is an interesting way of marketing your indie games in an extremely affordable way. Games will be able to go up on the Partner Network with a revenue share opportunity. This is completely made by you, but when your game goes live on the platform, content creators, streamers, and other influencers will be able to get a copy of your game, play for their own audiences to raise awareness for the game, and rack in the sales. There are even more features offered, but I hope you guys can see just how powerful this company can be in making developers' lives easier in the long run. If any or all of these features sound interesting to you, make sure to check out Xsolla with the link in the description below and start making your lives easier with Xsolla. I really appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end on these videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this soon, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and check out the links below to see how you can get more involved in what I'm currently doing on other platforms. Thanks guys.